Welcome, everyone. Today we're going to discuss moving from bottlenecks to breakthroughs. For many enterprise teams, current software delivery often looks like the left side of this graphic, a tangled web of long-lived feature branches, complex merge conflicts, and fragmented workflows that inevitably slow down your release cycles. These are the bottlenecks that stifle innovation and frustrate developers. This session serves as a strategic blueprint to change that narrative. We'll explore how adopting trunk-based development simplifies this complexity. By converging these disparate efforts into a single, streamlined path, we can achieve the high-performance enterprise velocity you see on the right, transforming your delivery pipeline from a source of friction into a powerful engine for growth and rapid deployment.
In today's competitive landscape, speed and stability are no longer trade-offs, they are non-negotiable requirements. The velocity mandate means our development models must actively enable high-velocity delivery rather than inhibiting it through legacy branching practices that clash with modern CI/CD. The impact of this shift is clear. McKinsey reports that effectively scaled engineering organizations deliver software 2.4x faster. Even more critically, DORA's 2024 research indicates that elite teams are 3.7x more likely to meet or exceed their overall organizational goals. As you can see in the chart, adopting modern practices allows us to break the old trade-off. We can simultaneously increase our deployment frequency, represented by the rocket, while driving down our change failure rate, represented by the shield. Our goal is to achieve this level of elite performance, balancing speed and stability to deliver consistent, high-quality value.
Now, let's look at the anatomy of a bottleneck by examining the Git flow model. As you can see from the diagram, Git flow relies on a rigid, multi-branch structure. While this was designed to provide a highly controlled environment for scheduled versioned releases, it creates a lot of complexity in practice. The overhead of managing concurrent feature branches, dedicated release branches, and emergency hotfixes, all of which eventually need to be synchronized across both the main and development lines, creates a spaghetti of merges. Each of those intersection points represents a potential conflict or a delay in integration. Ultimately, while this model offers structure, it wasn't built for the speed of modern software development. It acts as a bottleneck because it prioritizes rigid version control over the rapid, automated flow required for continuous delivery.
Complexity is often a silent killer of delivery velocity. As the team at Be Agile puts it, branching is killing your delivery. When we rely too heavily on complex branching strategies, we run into three major roadblocks. First, there is integration hell. Long-lived feature branches naturally diverge from the main trunk over time. This leads to high-risk, painful merge events and creates parallel silos of work rather than a unified stream. Next, we see delayed feedback and quality decay. Because issues are caught late in the development cycle, the cost of fixing defects skyrockets. Furthermore, bloated pull requests are difficult to review thoroughly, which allows technical debt to accumulate. Finally, all of this results in a massive productivity drain and release bottlenecks. Teams waste hours resolving merge conflicts and managing complex pipelines. This friction turns release coordination into a nightmare, slowing down even the smallest changes. To maintain velocity, we must address these hidden costs of complexity. Now, let's look at the modern standard for version control, trunk-based development. At its core, TBD is a practice where developers commit small, frequent updates to a single main branch. As you can see in the diagram, instead of long-lived feature branches that can lead to merge hell, branches in TBD are very short-lived, typically lasting no more than a few hours before merging back into the trunk. This approach, backed by research from DORA and Atlassian, is built on the principle of continuous integration. By keeping the main branch in a stable, always releasable state, we eliminate long, painful integration phases. Ultimately, by moving in small batches, we gain the simplicity and speed necessary for high-performing development teams. To truly succeed with trunk-based development, we have to view it as a system resting on three non-negotiable technical pillars. The first is continuous integration. Every commit to the trunk must automatically trigger a build and validation process. This pipeline is our primary safety net, allowing for rapid development while maintaining high code quality. In the center, we have comprehensive automated testing.
A robust suite of unit and integration tests is essential to guarantee stability. High test coverage provides the immediate feedback needed to ensure the trunk remains in a deployable state at all times. Finally, we rely on feature flags. This mechanism allows us to decouple code deployment from the actual feature release. With toggles, we can safely merge experimental or incomplete code into the main branch without any negative impact on the user experience. When these three pillars are in place, they create the stable foundation necessary for a high-performing TBD workflow.
Feature flags are a game changer because they decouple the technical act of deployment from the business decision of a release. Essentially, feature flags allow us to wrap new or unverified changes in an inactive code path. This ensures that even if a feature is only partially complete, our main branch remains stable and ready to deploy at a moment's notice. The process follows three clear steps. First, we code with a flag, wrapping the new UI or logic in a simple conditional statement. Second, we deploy that code to production. Because the flag is off, the code is live on the servers but completely invisible to users. Third, we perform a controlled release. By simply toggling the flag, we can roll out the feature to specific segments, like internal testers, before opening it up to the general public, all without a new deployment. To do this successfully, we practice a feature flag first discipline. This means creating the flag before writing a single line of code, making small, incremental commits behind that flag, and ensuring the feature is always deployed off by default. This approach transforms a high-stakes release into a low-risk, controlled event.
Now let's look at the payoff. Why is trunk-based development considered a foundational practice for elite DevOps teams? According to Dora Research, TBD is a primary driver behind superior software delivery and operational performance. If we look at the velocity metrics on the left, the contrast is stark. Elite performers are deploying multiple times per day with lead times of less than 24 hours, whereas low performers often take months to get a single change into production. Crucially, this speed doesn't come at the expense of quality. As you can see in the stability metrics on the right, elite teams maintain a significantly lower change failure rate and can restore service in under an hour, while low performers may struggle for weeks to recover from a failure. The takeaway here is clear. TBD allows teams to break the trade-off between speed and stability, enabling them to move faster while simultaneously increasing reliability. The trunk is governed by policy, not hope. This means that we don't just trust that trunk-based development principles are being followed, we enforce them using programmatic controls in tools like Azure DevOps and GitHub. These branch policies act as mandatory technical gates that protect our main branch from instability. First, we require a pull request for all changes. This completely prohibits direct pushes to main, ensuring every single line of code is reviewed and validated before it's merged. To support collective ownership, we mandate a minimum number of reviewers. Because TBD focuses on small, frequent updates, this peer review process remains fast and efficient rather than becoming a bottleneck. On the automated side, we use build validation policies. This is our automated quality gate. A specified CI pipeline must build successfully and pass all tests before the merge button even becomes active. We also require full comment resolution to ensure that all feedback from the team has been addressed and documented. Finally, we limit merge types to squash merges. This enforces a clean, linear history, turning what might have been several messy WIP commits into a single atomic commit on the main branch. By shifting from hope to policy, we ensure our trunk remains a stable, deployable foundation at all times. Moving to trunk-based development is more than just a technical upgrade. It's a fundamental cultural shift. We are moving away from isolated development toward a model of continuous collaboration and high discipline. This starts with leadership alignment. For TBD to succeed, our leaders must actively champion its strategic value and provide the visible sponsorship necessary to navigate this organizational change. On the ground, we need team discipline and collective ownership. This requires a transition to merge-first thinking, where every developer prioritizes the health of the shared trunk and the team feels a shared responsibility for keeping the build green. Because these skills aren't learned by osmosis, we must invest in training and capability building. We need formal education on small batch development and sophisticated feature flag management to ensure everyone is equipped for success. Finally, we have to embrace small, incremental changes. Our culture must evolve to value frequent, low-risk updates over the traditional, infrequent Big Bang releases. By focusing on these 4 pillars, we can ensure a smooth and successful transition.
To ensure a smooth and successful transition to trunk-based development, we follow a structured 4-step roadmap designed to mitigate risk while building momentum across the organization. Our journey begins with building the foundation. Before changing any workflows, we must achieve maturity in 3 critical technical pillars: a fast, reliable CI pipeline, comprehensive automated test coverage, and an enterprise-grade feature flagging system. The goal here is to ensure all technical prerequisites are firmly in place. Once the foundation is set, we run a pilot program. We select a team with high technical readiness to tackle a project of medium complexity. This allows us to apply branch policies and measure performance in a controlled environment, proving the model and gathering vital learnings before a wider release. In Phase 3, we measure and refine. Using DORA metrics, such as deployment frequency and lead time, we track the pilot team's performance against their baseline. This data-driven approach allows us to adjust our training and fine-tune the migration playbook based on real-world feedback. Finally, we scale and sustain. We roll out trunk-based development to the rest of the organization, supported by refined documentation and ongoing governance. Our ultimate goal is to institutionalize this approach as our new standard, ensuring it is supported by continuous monitoring and long-term success.
Feature flags are a powerful tool for modern delivery, but they aren't set it and forget it. To sustain high velocity, we have to actively manage what we call feature flag debt. Unmanaged flags quickly turn into technical debt. They increase code complexity, add cognitive load for developers, and create an ever-expanding matrix of test scenarios that can eventually slow down our releases. The solution is a proactive flag retirement policy. The core principle here is that a flag's lifecycle is not complete until it is removed. For short-lived flags, we recommend setting a clear expiration date, or time bomb, at the point of creation. As you can see in our process cycle, this starts by automatically adding a retirement task to the backlog as soon as a flag is created. Once a feature is fully rolled out and stable, we reach the most critical step: retire and clean code. It's important to remember that retirement is a 2-step process. It's not enough to just disable the flag in the management system. We must also go into the code base to remove the conditional logic and any associated code. This keeps our system lean, our tests manageable, and our delivery velocity sustainable. When we talk about moving from high-friction cycles to continuous flow, we are essentially looking at the strategic shift from Git flow to trunk-based development. Git flow, which we now consider a legacy model, is built around long-lived branches that can last for weeks. While this offers a high degree of control and scheduled versioning, it often results in integration hell, those complex, high-risk merges that create bottlenecks in the CI/CD pipeline. In contrast, trunk-based development is the modern standard for teams prioritizing velocity. By keeping branch lifespans short, usually just a few hours, we significantly reduce merge complexity and enable a much faster, continuous release cadence. It is a required practice for effective CI/CD, allowing for on-demand deployments. While trunk-based development requires more automation and team discipline, the trade-off is clear. We move away from stagnation and toward continuous value delivery. To achieve high-velocity development, we need a clear blueprint that moves us away from complexity and toward continuous delivery. It starts by recognizing the bottleneck. Traditional, complex branching models like Git flow often create integration friction and delay critical feedback. In today's landscape, these models are fundamentally incompatible with the speed required for modern CI/CD. The breakthrough is shifting toward trunk-based development. This approach simplifies the entire workflow, allowing for true continuous integration. However, this isn't just about changing how we code. It's supported by non-negotiable pillars: robust automated testing, and the strategic use of feature flags to decouple deployment from release. Finally, we must execute the blueprint with precision. This means governing the trunk through programmatic branch policies and treating the transition as a cultural shift rather than just a technical one. By following a phased migration roadmap, we can de-risk the process and ensure long-term stability. Ultimately, as the team at Be Agile puts it, the best teams don't manage branches, they continuously deliver value.